Namaste. Welcome to Flow and Restore Yoga with a guided 10 minutes of meditation at the end of the physical practice. And for the physical practice, you'll want to have two blocks, a strap, a bolster or pillow, and a blanket. I invite you to start in some form of hero's pose if that is appropriate for your body, and that's where you set the knees in front of you like this. And either sit directly on your calves, or you can use one of your props like a block and sit on that between your ankles. But as with any of the physical practice, please make sure you're listening to your body. And if you need to do a posture differently, get creative with your props, and you can always opt out, making sure that you're taking care of yourself. So take a moment to arrive not only physically, but mentally. Let the body start to become still as your awareness comes a little closer to your surrounding space. In our past few sessions, I've been talking about the yogic practices of aparigraha, which is from the first limb of yoga, and it's translated often as letting go or non-attachment to outcome, like when you set an intention at the beginning of practice and you let go to how that will unfold. And it's also the letting go of resistance that we might have towards anything that causes us suffering because we're clinging. So it's, and then the second practice that I was referencing was santosha, which is from the second limb of yoga. And santosha often means contentment, or I love how Judith Lassiter, senior yoga teacher, defines it as the courage to be present with what is, even when what is uncomfortable. And so going on those, I want to go a little further into relationships. Now, it's easy to make these blanket statements of like, be present, cultivate contentment in daily life. But what happens when you're in a difficult relationship, whether it's with someone else, and that's more specifically what I'm going to talk about, or your relationship with life itself, or an event, or yourself. This can be applicable to any of those. Very specifically, when we're having some rough terrain between yourself and somebody else, here's an excerpt from Tara Brach's book, Radical Acceptance, Embracing Your Life with the Heart of a Buddha. And she actually quotes a writer named Rachel Naomi Remen, who says, when we recognize the spark of God in others, we blow on it with our attention and strengthen it. No matter how deeply it has been buried for how long, when we bless someone, we touch the unborn goodness in them and wish it well. The mirroring of inner beauty is the blessing any of us can give to each other. I'll say that again. The mirroring of inner beauty is the blessing any of us can give to each other. We only need to pause, see clearly who is before us, and open wide our hearts. So our meditation practice later will dive deeper into that. But this is sort of the practice of cultivating aparigraha and santosha in our difficult relationships. So let's start with our relationship to ourselves as we practice the physical postures and movements and breath work and concentration, and more importantly, the self-awareness of what arises as we're in those contexts of practices. How can we cultivate a loving kindness to ourselves? How can we see our own innate goodness? And this quote talks about the innate goodness that's in everyone, having that as a given. And sometimes that innate goodness is clouded by ways of dealing with life, ways that cause ourselves suffering and thus inflict suffering on others. So let's start with ourselves. Let's begin the practice. As you're sitting still, notice what you're feeling in your physical body right now. Notice how you're feeling energetically by bringing awareness to your natural breathing. Sense the way you feel in your mind and heart by paying attention to where your attention goes and noticing any patterns of what you've been focusing on, as well as the quality of your presence, the quality of your focus right now, without judging yourself as good or bad. The in-breath, come in a little slower. Opening your lips, empty everything out. Inhale even slower. Exhale just as slowly through the mouth. This time, inhale, fill up to the very top, and pause if you can for a few seconds comfortably. Notice how that feels, that fullness of breath. And at your own pace, when you're ready, empty it just as slowly. And pause at empty for a few seconds, and notice how that feels, having released any last bit of air. And then you might begin to breathe just through the nose if you're able to do that, continuing to lengthen and balance inhales and exhales. I invite you to call to mind something that you find contentment in this present moment. Practicing Santosha now by activating gratitude. Begin to identify what you're inviting into your state of being through this practice today. Setting your intention or saying your personal prayer. And then perhaps make an offering of your practice for someone. And as we focus on difficult relationships today, notice if somebody comes to mind that you might challenge yourself to dedicate this practice to. And together, let's open the space by chanting Om 3 times. As you continue to lengthen your breath evenly in and out through your nose, begin to create a soft whispering sound by gently narrowing the back of your throat. This is a practice called Ujjayi Pranayama. It means victorious breathing. And it's a way to balance your energy, helping to focus and calm your mind and body. See if you can keep that same slow, even breath where you can feel the very top of the inhalation, like when we paused earlier, but without pausing. And you can feel the very bottom of the exhalation, that emptiness. Keep it going, and let's start to move to that breath. Coming down onto all fours, we'll begin to warm up the spine before we start twisting in cat-cow pose. So stack your shoulders above your wrists and step your knees a couple inches behind your hips. As you inhale, slowly glide your chest forward, roll your shoulders down and look up, cow pose. As you exhale, contract your abdomen, rounding your back as you bow, cat pose. Again, inhale, draw your heart forward, roll the shoulders back, cow pose. Exhale, lift the belly in, doming the back, cat pose. A few more cycles in Vidalasana or cat-cow pose. Now, at the end of your next exhalation, tuck your toes and lift your hips high and back, entering a moving downward facing dog, moving any way that your body may be asking you to help loosen it up. You might pedal your feet slowly in place while swiveling your hips side to side. This helps to lengthen the sides of the torso as you're warming up the backs of your legs. Notice the quality of your breathing. As you spread your thumbs flat towards each other, stretch your index fingers straight forward or slightly turn them out. Rotate your outer upper arms towards the floor to broaden your shoulder blades apart and lift the shoulder blades onto your back ribs away from your neck. You might begin to shake and nod your head if you haven't already, just helping to loosen the neck. Pressing your chest back towards your thighs. Firm the belly in towards your back. Press the fronts of your thigh bones back as you lift the hips. And root down to your heels. Maybe bend the knees if that helps to lengthen your spine some more. Let the movement dissolve as we pause and listen to 3 deep breaths here in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Let your eyes steady on one focal point. As you inhale, raise your right leg behind you, keeping your hips leveled in height. Now, as you exhale, bend your right knee slowly towards your nose, rounding your back as you glide into plank pose. Quietly as you can, step the right foot beside your right thumb and lower your left knee, separating your legs hips width apart. Press down to your legs and inhale, sweep your arms up, rising into a kneeling lunge. So here in your kneeling lunge, make sure that your left hip is directly above your left knee and your right ankle is directly below your right knee. Now bring the energy into your legs as if you're dragging them towards each other to create a sense of stability while lifting your pelvic floor, inviting the spine to lengthen as you relax the shoulders down. How's the breath? One more inhale here. And as you exhale, keep your spine vertical and begin rotating your chest to face your right while opening the arms wide apart like a T. Now let's continue to twist here for a few more breaths. Each time you inhale, press both legs into the ground and direct energy up from the base of your spine through each vertebra to your crown. And with each exhale, relaxing the shoulders, continue to spin your left ribs towards your right wall and your right ribs towards your rear wall. If your balance feels pretty stable, maybe gaze past your right thumb. Tune into about 2 more deep breaths in this upright spinal twist. So you might remember this week that in spinal twists, we want to keep the lower back safe by not twisting at the pelvis when you're doing upright twists like this. Instead, directing the twist right under your rib cage across your waistline. Now, as you breathe in, lengthen your spine forward towards down the midline of your mat. Lower the left hand down right under your left shoulder. If the ground feels too low, place your hand on a block and raise your right arm straight up, gazing up towards your right thumb, only if your neck feels okay with it. Let's continue to twist here with each inhale. Continue to stretch your spine from your pelvis. Draw your shoulder blades down your back ribs. Keep the right leg still, and as you exhale, draw in your belly and continue to rotate your rib cage using the muscles along the sides of your core, your obliques. Last few breaths here, rotate your right tricep, which is your outer upper arm, to face your right wall, and then extend that right arm overhead towards your front wall, only to the degree where you don't begin to shrug your shoulders. Relax your eyes, but steady your gaze for 3 more deep breaths. This is a version of twisting side angle pose, Parita Parshvakonasana. Though we haven't done much movement to warm up, entering this posture, make it maybe 70% depth. We're not trying to go uber deep in this pose right now. We're just introducing the body into the twist. Lower both hands to the floor, step back to plank pose, top of a push-up. Whether legs straight or knees on the ground, allow 2 more deep breaths. Lengthen through the center line of your body, firm the muscles in the belly, draw the shoulders back. Now as you exhale, glide forward. Bend your elbows 90 degrees to touch your side ribs, pausing halfway down in Chaturanga Dandasana. Then carefully lower all the way down. Press down to the tops of your feet and hug your elbows towards your ribs. Inhale, roll your shoulders back, lifting your chest forward in Cobra pose. Tuck your toes from your belly in, and exhale, press up into your plank pose. Then lift your hips, downward facing dog. Full breath in. Listen to that whisper at the back of the throat as you empty it all out. Keep your hips leveled. Inhale, raise your left leg behind you. As you exhale, bend the knee high towards your nose, rounding into plank pose. Quietly as you can, step the foot forward beside your left thumb. Lower your right knee and inhale, lift the arms. Kneeling lunge. So make sure that your right hip is directly on top of your right knee. Your legs are hips width apart. Your left knee is directly above your left ankle. Then energetically drag your legs towards each other while lifting your pelvic floor. Feel that stability below to enable more space above. Inhale here as you lift through the back of your skull and relax the shoulders down. Keep the legs still and exhale, begin twisting to your left. Open your arms wide apart. Inhale, continue to lift up through the center of your spine while relaxing the shoulders. Exhale, spread your arms wide, continue to twist across your waistline. Staying for a few more breaths. Notice here we're not using any leverage in any of these last couple of twists. We're using purely your core muscles. So testing out their strength a bit. The obliques, maybe gazing behind you, 1 more breath. Feel the steadiness of your legs as you breathe in and lengthen your torso forward down the midline of your mat. Place the right hand down on the inside of the front foot on a block or the ground directly beneath your shoulder as you stack the shoulders, raising the left arm up. Continue to lengthen forward as you breathe in. Peel both shoulders down the back, especially the right shoulder. As you breathe out, keep the left leg solidly still. Draw in the belly and continue to spin your left ribs towards the sky. Spiral your left tricep to face your left wall. Then extend your left arm overhead towards your front wall, only to the degree where you can still lengthen all sides of your neck. As you steady your breath, tune into 3 more deep breaths. Look at your left foot. Inhale, step to plank pose. Exhale, lower through Chaturanga Dandasana. This time, cobra or upward dog. Inhale, coil your chest open. Exhale, downward facing dog. Let all movement dissolve as you cultivate awareness with 3 deep breaths. When you've emptied the third, walk or lightly jump to the top of your mat, forward fold. Inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. Inhale, rise, rolling your shoulders back and down into a gentle standing back bend. Exhale, trace your palms in prayer down to your heart center. Let's flow through sun salutation, B, Surya Namaskar, B, moving to the breath with your feet touching each other. Inhale, bend your knees to touch. Lower into chair pose, Utkatasana. Exhale, shift your weight forward and hinge from your hips, Uttanasana. Press the ground or blocks. Inhale, lengthen your spine forward, Ardha Uttanasana. Step back to plank, and as you exhale, glide forward and lower through Chaturanga Dandasana. Continue through your vinyasa. When you arrive in downward dog, keep your hips leveled. Inhale, raise your right leg back. Exhale, round forward to quietly step the foot beside your right thumb. Spin the left heel down. Inhale, rise to stand in warrior one. Exhale, lower into your vinyasa. Second side. From downward dog, inhale, raise your left leg back. Exhale the foot softly to land beside left thumb. Spin the right heel down. Inhale, rise to Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, lower, vinyasa. Downward facing dog. Slowing down the breath, observe what's present in your body here. Cultivating presence with what is. When you've emptied the next breath, walk or float to the front of your mat into a forward fold. With feet touching, inhale, half forward fold. Exhale, fold. With knees touching, inhale, chair pose. Exhale, rise to mountain pose. Let's take the same sequence one more time. Inhale, chair. Exhale, fold. Inhale, lengthen forward. Either step to plank and lower slowly, or float lightly to Chaturanga Dandasana. Keep going to your vinyasa. From downward facing, inhale, raise right leg. Exhale the foot forward. Inhale, rise, warrior one. Exhale, lower, vinyasa. Take it all the way through side two. Pausing in Adho Mukha Svanasana for at least 3 rebalancing breaths. Sensing your energy right now. Tune into the energy of your heart as well. What feels present there? Bend your knees, walk or float to the front of your mat. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Bend your knees. Inhale, chair pose. And exhale to rise. All right, before we enter our yin part, we're gonna add in just another twisting posture with balance play. So grab your 2 blocks, please. Place your 2 blocks on the floor about a foot in front of your feet on their tallest height, about shoulders distance apart. And start here in mountain pose. Join your hands in prayer, reconnect to your breath. Steady your gaze ahead of the blocks on the floor and start to bend your right knee in front of you, flex the foot. If you have any tightness in the back of the left leg, you can bend the left knee as well. Keep your hips leveled in height and begin to extend the right leg back while tilting your torso forward, entering Warrior 3. Rotate the right outer hip to face the ground and tack the left hip back as you lift through the sides of your belly. Place your hands down onto your blocks, adjusting them so they're right under your shoulders, and continue to lengthen forward through the chest. How is your breath? Twisting half moon pose. Place the right block a few inches to the left so that it's a foot in front of your left big toe. Keep each leg in their separate lanes and keep the right leg solidly stretching back. Inhale, lengthen your torso forward. Use your left thumb to hook your left outer hip back. Keep your pelvis still and begin to rotate your rib cage to the left. Maybe raise the left arm up, entering twisting half moon pose. Now you can adjust the height of the block if it feels too high or too low. Breathe in and continue to lengthen your spine from your pelvis. Breathe out, hug the hips still, and spiral your rib cage. Same principles as earlier in our spinal twist. Parita, Ardha Chandrasana. Last 2 breaths. Place both hands on blocks and step the right foot to meet the left. Bend your knees, adjust the blocks so they're back to their original place. And inhale, roll up to stand. Join your hands in prayer and pause. Maybe close the eyes for a couple of breaths. Sense what's here right now. What came up for you mentally as you were maybe challenging your balance. And I invite you to give yourself a mental compliment or some sort of gratitude. What did you do well? Come back to the breath and steady your gaze ahead. Feet together, bend your left knee in front of you and flex the foot. Pause here, engage the belly. Stand tall. As you keep the hips level, begin to extend left leg back, lengthen the torso forward, and lower your hands on the blocks. Take a moment to square your hips. Rotate the left outer hip down, tack the right hip back, and really firm the muscles in your legs, especially your lifted leg. Engage the belly, breathe in and lengthen through the center line of your body. Place the left block about a foot in front of your right big toe, and with the right thumb, hook the right outer hip back. Exhale, begin to twist to the right. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, continue to twist. Maybe raise your right arm up in Parita, Ardha Chandrasana. Steadying your gaze for about 3 or 4 more breaths. Lower both hands, lower the left foot beside the right. And bend your knees in your forward fold. Reach the hands behind you to clasp or hold a strap between. And softly shake and nod your head, stretching the arms away from your lower back. Lift the shoulders up away from your neck. Inhale as though you could fill up your whole body. Open your mouth and eyes wide. Stick out your tongue and release any sound as you exhale. One more lion's breath. Inhale deeply. Empty it out. Maybe spend a few breaths fluttering your lips, relaxing your jaw. Release the arms and lower into child's pose. Keep the head low. Bring the feet together to touch. Set your knees together or apart on the ground. Extending your arms forward on the floor as you bow your head to the earth. Now entering the yin part of our practice, sink your hips down towards your heels and lengthen forward through the crown of your head. Notice if you can still hear your breathing. Imagine the feeling of breathing deeper along the sides of your waist and stretching the intercostal muscles between your side ribs, the left and the right. Feel those muscles soften as you breathe out. Keep your head and heart close to the earth. Please walk your hands to your right side as far as you can reach outside of the mat if possible. You might even explore going further by stepping your left palm on top of your right hand and breathing a little more into your left side body from the rib cage to the lower back. One more deep breath. Slowly crawl your hands onto the mat and begin to switch over to your left side. You might step your right palm on top of your left hand as you focus on breathing deeper into your right ribs and right side of your lower back. And come back to center, slithering all the way forward onto your belly, lying face down with the legs straight behind you. From here, we're going to open up the fronts of the shoulders before we continue with our spinal twists. Slide your right palm out to the right, face down on the floor. You might like to place one of your props, like one of your blocks, just to the right side of your skull so you can rest your head on it in a moment. Place your left hand on the ground beside your left shoulder and begin to press the ground away with it as you slowly roll over onto your right outer hip. Pause to slide your right shoulder head away from your right ear. Create a little space along the right side of your neck and then continue breath by breath, listening to how far your body wants you to lean back. If the shoulder feels really open on the front, you might even step the left foot behind you and or wrap the left arm behind you. Just listening to your body guide you through its sensations. Tuning also into 10 more slow breaths here. Notice how your mind reacts or responds, if any differently, to being still longer, to less doing, less action. Gently begin to roll onto your stomach, pausing for a couple of breaths as you lie face down. You might rest your forehead on your forearms or on a block. And just let your body unwind as you observe it. Take your time transitioning to the second side. You might place a block beside your left ear. Slide the left palm out to the left, face down. Place the right hand on the floor beside your right shoulder and begin to roll over slowly towards your left outer hip. Pause on your way there to walk the left shoulder blade further down your back. And really pay attention. Notice if there's anything different that the side of your shoulders needs. You might go the same extent or more or less as you really pay attention. Feel the very top, the fullness of your inhalation. Take the same amount of time to arrive at the emptiness of the exhalation. And continue for 9 more deep breaths. And slowly roll onto your stomach again, resting your forehead on a prop or your forearms, and being still to notice whatever there is to notice for a few breaths. Place your hands in the ground alongside your ribs and press up so that you can rise to sit. Bring the legs in front of you. You may want to take your strap with you as you extend your left leg straight ahead and bend your right knee. Step the ball of your right foot into the strap. This is optional because you might also be able to hold your outer foot with a left hand instead. So kick into the foot. You might start with the strap first just to see how reachable it is. Place the right hand on the floor behind your pelvis. Flex both of your feet and use your sitting bones to press the ground away as you rise up taller on an inhale. Kick the foot forward and begin to twist to the right as you exhale. Now you can decide if you want to hold the strap or the outer foot, but continue these counter forces of kicking the foot forward and pulling the foot with your strap or hand. You might choose to raise the right arm behind you like you're reaching for the back wall as you lift up to the back of your skull and melt your shoulder blades down. Maybe even stretching your neck and looking towards your right thumb. About 6 more breaths. Inhale, look forward. Bend your right knee open and bring the sole of the right foot towards your groins. So you can splay open the right thigh so that the angle at your groins is an obtuse angle larger than 90 degrees, if possible. And then you might use a strap around the ball of your left foot. Or you might hold the outer foot if that's reachable. Maybe start with a strap and then you can decide. Hold it with your right hand. Flex the left foot. Place the left hand outside your left thigh, and then press again down to your 2 sitting bones and lift up tall through the back of your skull. Breathe in here. Keep your spine upright and turn your rib cage to the left. So your chest is pointing towards the outside of your left leg. And then begin to hinge forward from the hips in that direction. Inhale, press the sitting bones down, especially the right sitting bone, and continue to spiral the rib cage. So you're twisting and bowing only to the degree that you can still relax the shoulders, still open the throat. About 6 more breaths. This is a twisting version of head to knee pose called Parita Janu Shirshasana. Press down to your pelvis. Start to lead up through the chest. Breathe in to slowly rise. Let's extend the right leg forward, flex the foot, and bend the left knee in front of you. Place the left hand behind your pelvis, and you might start by stepping the ball of your left foot into the strap as you hold the strap in your right hand. Flex both feet, press the pelvis down, kick into the strap as you pull it towards you, and rise up taller as you breathe in. You can decide if you hold the outer foot instead of the strap. Then, keeping the pelvis still, continue to twist at your waistline to the left. You might choose to raise the left arm towards the back wall. You might choose to look back towards it. Keep relaxing the shoulders down and lifting up through each inhalation. About 6 more breaths. This is a seated version of the standing balancing pose called twisting hand to big toe, or Parita Uttita Hasta Parangushtasana. Notice what's available for you and the extent of your twist now, as we've done a few twists already in this practice. And as you empty the breath, unwind from the twist and bend your left knee open, bringing the sole of that foot or the heel towards your groins so that possibly you can create an obtuse angle at your groins. Place the strap around the ball of your right foot flexed and hold the strap in your left hand. Place the right hand on the ground outside your right thigh and sit tall by pressing the pelvis down as you breathe in. Spin your chest to face the outside of your right leg and exhale, begin to bow in that direction. Pause as you inhale, press both sitting bones down and elongate your spine. Relax the shoulders down. Option to hold the outer foot instead of the strap. And then exhale, if it's available, without rounding the back. Continue to fold. About 6 more breaths. Parita Janu Shirshasana. Press down through both sitting bones. Breathe in, lift your heart space, rising all the way up. Let's bend the knees apart and bring the soles of the feet together. Grab a block or two and have them nearby for options, because we're going to hold this forward fold for about 2 minutes. Baddha Konasana, bound angle pose. So decide first how you want to set up your legs, depending on where you feel the sensations happening and how you want to guide those sensations of opening up. So with the feet still touching each other, notice how it feels to bring the heels really close to your groins. With the feet still touching each other, slide the heels away from your groins and just be aware of the sensations, especially in your outer thighs, your inner thighs, your hips. So you could have it really far away, but just make sure the feet are still together. And that just targets a different area of your outer thighs. So see where you want to target. And if you're not sure, just start somewhere and then you can adjust. And then decide how you want to place your blocks. You can create a tower out of your blocks to eventually rest your forehead on. If your feet are really far away, you can place the blocks on your inner feet, 1 or 2 blocks like this, and then hinge forward. So adjust the height of the block so that when you're bowing forward, you're not rounding the back so much. There can be a little rounding so you're not trying to strain to be rigidly a flat back. But you're not adding tension into the shoulders, the neck, the breath. And now come back to the sound and feeling of your breathing. Maybe continuing Ujjayi breath, slow and even for 2 more minutes. Moving very slowly, press your hands down into the floor. Breathe in as you rise up. Stretch the legs straight in front of you and allow a moment if you need to rotate your feet at your ankles or point and flex your toes. Still consciously breathing. And being aware of how you're feeling in this moment in your body, energetically, in any of the dimensions. We're going to go a little further into the hips, particularly into the outer hips and glutes, which can also open up space across the lower back. When we're twisting, you might already feel some of the glutes being opened up. Coming into cow face pose. So first of all, if you're sitting here and your back tends to round, I invite you to sit up on something like your folded blanket in which you can adjust the thickness of and towards the front edge of it. Make sure you're able to sit tall. Then turn out your right thigh at the hip and cross your right thigh as much as possible over your left thigh, dropping the knee open to possibly stack above the left knee. So you're hugging your midline. You can keep the left leg straight and flex the foot if this allows you to feel more grounded and upright. Otherwise, bend your left knee as well and splay your feet apart. Make sure you can evenly root your sitting bones. Now you might grab a strap in your left hand and raise your left arm, dangling the strap behind you. With the help of your right hand, spin your left outer upper arm to face forward and bring the elbow behind your head, pressing both shoulders down as you hug the front ribs in. Lift your chin parallel to the floor and glide the back of your head towards your left arm. Try to keep the left elbow pointing upwards rather than pointing to the left if you can. Reach the right hand below behind you to catch the bottom end of the strap and walk your hands as close together as you can. Some of you might drop the strap if you're able to clasp your fingers. Keep pressing the shoulders down, pressing the pelvis down. As you breathe in, imagine lifting energy from the root chakra at the base of your spine all the way up to your crown chakra at the top of the head. The shoulders relax, and if it's available, begin to hinge forward from your hips. Continue to ground and lengthen as you inhale, and maybe bow further as you exhale for about 10 more breaths in Gomukhasana. Pressing your pelvis down, begin to lift your chest as you inhale to slowly rise up. Release your arms and uncross your legs, sitting tall in stick pose for a few deep breaths. Notice any sensations that might be shifting in your body right now. Can you find some enjoyment in the aliveness of your body through these sensations? Knowing that even if the sensations are uncomfortable, it's your body communicating to you through its intelligence. How amazing is that? Let's switch the left thigh, turning it out, crossing it over the right as much as you can, maybe stacking your knees. Decide to either keep the bottom leg straight, the foot flexed, or to bend your right knee as well and splay the feet apart, rounding your sitting bones. You might start by holding the strap in your right hand as you raise your right arm and dangle the strap behind you. With the help of your left hand, spin your right outer upper arm to face forward and bring the elbow behind your head. Press your shoulders down, lift your chin parallel to the ground, and seal in the bottom of your front ribs as you sit tall. Reach the left hand behind you underneath, catching the bottom end of the strap. Walk your hands as close together as you can, aiming to point your right elbow upwards towards the sky. Inhale, press the hips down and lengthen from your root energy center to your crown energy center. If it's available, exhale, begin to hinge forward from your hips. Exploring breath by breath for 10 more breaths. Cow face pose. Press down through your pelvis and breathe in to slowly rise. Release your arms and cross your legs. And once again, sit tall in Dandasana, allowing for a few breaths of awareness scanning your body. Please find a comfortable way to sit I invite you into a pranayama practice that will help us to tune deeper inward and relax our nervous systems to prepare for corpse pose and then our guided meditation. Sit in a way that you feel comfortable and upright, relaxed, easily able to breathe. Invite you into an energy balancing, brain balancing breathing technique called alternate nostril breathing, or Nodi Shodhana Pranayama. It's done by closing your lips, just breathing through the nose, very soft, almost quiet breaths. The left hand rests on your lap. You can place it in a mudra to cultivate the feeling tone you are accentuating, such as a grounding feeling by thumb and index finger touching, palm face down, or tuning deeper inward to focus, same shape, Gyan Mudra, palm face up. Place your right hand in Vishnu Mudra, which is sticking out the thumb, pinky, and ring fingers. As you close your lips, we'll use the right thumb to close the right nostril like this. We'll use the right ring and pinky to close the left nostril like this. Alternate nostril breathing. As you're doing that, you might close the eyes to help tune deeper inward and focus. You can steady your inward gaze towards the center of your brain, the area of your pineal gland, also your third eye center. Let's prepare to practice 3 cycles of alternate nostril breathing together, and then continue 2 cycles on your own before letting go of controlling your breath. So empty this breath. The right thumb, cover your right nostril. Inhale through your left. Hold your breath. Close left. Exhale right. Hold your breath. Inhale right. Hold. Close right. Exhale left. Hold. Cycle 2. Inhale left slowly. Hold. Close left. Exhale right slowly. Hold. Inhale right slowly. Hold. Close right. Exhale left slowly. Hold. Cycle 3. Inhale left. Hold. Close left. Exhale right. Hold. Inhale right. Hold. Close right. Exhale left. Hold. Continue on your own for 2 more cycles. Take your time finishing at your own pace. When you do finish, just pay attention to how you're feeling, anything that you're feeling, as you breathe naturally. Sensing any effects of that pranayama in all of your yoga practice thus far. Cultivating deep presence with the present moment. Please begin to lower your body entirely onto the ground. Feel free to set up with any props as you place your body in Shavasana, corpse pose. You might turn your palms face up, slightly away from your sides as you rest your shoulders down and close your eyes. Let the breath flow naturally as you expand your awareness onto your inner world. As you keep your eyes closed, your body still. Sense the way your body feels right now. Begin to move small parts of your body very slowly. Little by little, stretching here and there. Keeping the eyes closed as you cultivate inward awareness. As you feel ready, gradually turn over onto your right side and rest your head there for a few moments. Pausing to observe a few cycles of natural breath. Sense the quality of the breath. And notice how you feel now energetically. Does anything feel different since you arrived in this practice? Slowly begin to lift your body upright, finding a comfortable way to sit for a guided 10 minutes of meditation. Sitting tall and relaxed, open and alert. You might place your hands in one of the mudras you practiced earlier during your pranayama. You might close your eyes or steady a soft gaze, downcast. This meditation is a mindfulness practice of cultivating loving kindness for yourself and for others as we address difficult relationships or continue to in the practice of santosha. Begin by resting your awareness on the sensations of the breath, landing your attention on one specific part of your body where you can feel the breath. Let this be sort of your home base so that if your attention wanders off, you can bring it back to this feeling. A way to come back to the present. Another name for this meditation is metta. It's a practice drawn from Buddhist psychology, though it can be practiced outside of religion. Sense the way your heart feels right now, any emotions present. And you might also remember your intention at the beginning of this practice. With what's present for you now and in relation to your intention, choose 1 to 3 qualities you would like to wish for yourself. For example, I wish myself peace. I wish myself courage. I wish myself authentic joy. Once you've chosen 1 to 3 qualities, in your own words, I invite you to gift yourself these mentally or out loud. Take the time to feel each quality that you're gifting yourself. Sensing the bigger picture in which we all, humans, beings, want to feel love, want to feel happiness, want to feel safe. Now I invite you to call to mind someone. It could be a human, an animal, pet, someone in the past or present that makes you smile when you think of them, or that you hold in loving light naturally. Allow a moment to visualize them. And sense the love that you feel for that being. As you recognize that that being is very similar to you in that they also want to be happy, loved, and safe, I invite you to gift them the same qualities that you wished for yourself, using your own words. Imagine them experiencing these qualities. And sensing their innate goodness. As you sense your innate goodness. Next, remember someone that you feel neutrally about. Maybe it's someone you don't know very well, but you see them in your apartment as you walk down the stairs from time to time. Maybe you don't even know their name. Picture their presence here now. And acknowledge your common beingness or humanity with them. But like you, they also want to feel love. They want to feel safety. They want to feel happiness. And inside of them, just like inside of you, is innate goodness. I invite you with sincerity to offer them your qualities that you gifted yourself as well. And entertain for a few moments imagining them experiencing these qualities. So with each new being, we are extending our capacity or widening our circle of loving kindness. Now I invite you to come back to that individual that you may have thought of in the beginning, with which you're experiencing a difficult relationship with. Maybe you had a recent disagreement or conflict. Maybe they challenged you in some way in which you felt uncomfortable. Picture their presence here. And tap into your ability to see clearly beyond our defense mechanisms, to truly see this other being who at their core is very similar to you, and that they want to be loved, want to be happy, they want to feel safe. And like you, they were once a young child, a newborn, where it was really easy to see their innate goodness. And now it's still there. In your own words, I invite you to gift them the qualities you gifted yourself. Genuinely imagining them experiencing these qualities. Remembering that the mirroring of inner beauty is the blessing any of us can give to each other. As we're able to see the light within the other, we're able to shine our own light as well. Now I invite you to see all of the beings that you have just gifted these qualities to all together with you right now. And as a collective, invite you to one last time send these words of loving kindness to all of us, all of these beings at once. As Wayne Dyer, spiritual teacher, once said, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Notice how you're feeling now mentally and emotionally. And I invite you to offer gratitude for anything you choose. Remind yourself of your intention or personal prayer for this practice. And reimagine to whom you dedicated today's practice, in some way receiving your loving kindness. And together, let's close chanting Om 3 times. Bowing in, recognize the light within. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.